Hi, this is Katie Kramer with Tomorrow's Technology Today. I am the Training and Project Specialist. On the line with us, we have Leah Kesters. She is our Business Development Specialist. And today, Leah and I are going to be talking about Microsoft Teams. Just a few housekeeping items that I want to run through. If you have audio or video issues during this webinar, please try to refresh your browser. This typically resolves a lot of the issues. We also recommend using Google Chrome for these presentations. This presentation is being recorded and will be available after the broadcast at tomtechtoday.com/freestuff/webinars. And as I mentioned, Leah is on the call to help us answer any questions that you have. So please feel free to put them in the chat as we go throughout the webinar, or we'll open up the microphones at the end and feel free to ask your questions then. So what is Microsoft Teams? So Microsoft Teams is basically a unified collaboration platform that allows you to chat, have video meetings, do file storage, and it also has a ton of apps that integrate with it. So this is something that Microsoft is using for their 365 suite. Basically just makes sharing those documents seamless. The service launched in March of 2017. So why do you want to use Microsoft Teams? So Microsoft Teams is a hub for teamwork. Basically, it opens up those channels for communication and allows you to work within your project teams to talk about different things, share documents back and forth, hold your meetings, those kinds of things. So privacy within Teams. I know a lot of people always have questions about how safe their data is with Microsoft. So as a part of the Office 365 suite, you own and control your data. So Microsoft is not using your data for anything other than providing you with that service that you've subscribed to. You can take your team with you. So Microsoft Teams is available within Windows, Mac, and then for our mobile friends, iOS and Android. And I will say I have used Microsoft Teams on my iPhone, both just for the chat features and also for attending meetings, and it works so great. It's unbelievable how we're able to share things back and forth on those little devices. Okay, so here we have an overview of what the screen looks like. So over on the left-hand side, you'll see activity, chat, teams, meetings, calling, files, and the ellipsis icon has the different apps that are available to integrate within Microsoft Teams. And then under the Teams section, you can see all the different teams that this person, or all the different channels that this person has access to. And then to the right, you'll see the different chats that they have going, and you can also see the different tabs across the top for the conversations, files, OneNote, Power BI. You can add different documents to this channel and have them appear as a tab up at the top. So channels that I've been talking about. So a channel is a space under the team to communicate about the specific topic. So for example, Microsoft would be the team, and then under Microsoft, you could have channels created for Office 365, Windows 10, Exchange, and so on. So basically, you could give people access to Office 365 if they were working on a project and they're able to collaborate with just that team. Your Windows 10 people could have the same kind of thing set up where it's just within that group that they would see the communication channels. So the chat. So chat can be one-on-one or within the group, and you're going to use Shift and Enter if you need to start a new line within the text box. You can do formatting options, you can chat within channels, and there are different ways to search and find messages, and you can also hide or mute chats to keep them out of your way. And we'll talk about a lot of those features in just a little bit. To get started, we're going to take a look at the chat toolbar. So this is, if you look up here at the top, you'll see the different icons. So that's giving you your formatting options, delivery options, attachments, emojis, GIFs, which I love, stickers, schedule a meeting. You can use Microsoft Stream. You can give praise to someone, and then same thing that we had on the left toolbar, the different apps that are available. And then over here to the far right is the send option to send a chat. Files. So you can easily share files with your teammates. All you have to do is just add it into the little text box and hit send. Multiple people can edit the document at the same time, so Microsoft Teams works the same way that all of the Office 365 suite works. You'll have the little pictures up at the top to indicate who is within the document, and then you have the little flag within the document to show you where they're working. And you can also, as we mentioned, you can do the file across the top of the channel for easy access. So collaborate on files. So you can share the file in Teams, as we talked about. Everyone within that channel has access to it. And typically you have one owner of the channel who can give people access. And then you can also add the file as a tab up at the top. So turning a file into a tab. So here's just an example of Lisa creating the training notebook that we use. So you'll see up at the top that it has the training notebook as a tab, and then it also added its own default message to the channel, just letting everybody know within the channel that the training notebook has been added. You can tag people within the chat, so all you have to do is type in @name. So here's an example. Bonnie put my name in a specific message, and I did the same for her. That just kind of calls people out and really grabs their attention. So there are the different statuses available. So available, busy, do not disturb, be right back, appear away. So available, you'll remain available unless there's something booked within your calendar. And of course you can change that if you don't want it to show you as busy. Otherwise, if you've been idle for 10 minutes or more, Teams will automatically set you from available to away. Do not disturb works really well for when you want to focus, or if you're presenting your screen and you don't want the notifications to pop up. So speaking of the notifications, these are all the different settings that you can have notifications for. So you can either do the banner and email, or you can do whichever one works best for you. It will give you the little number and count up as you get different notifications within your channel or chat. So view or add contacts. So this is something you go into chat to be able to see your contacts. And then this gives you the option to have like the address book or the history or voicemail that you can also set up within Microsoft Teams. You can share your screen. So if Leah has a question on something that I sent to her and we just want to talk about it, and we don't really need to pass it back and forth, but we would just like to look at it together. And let's say that she's working with a client and I'm working in the office, she can share her screen with me and I'm able to hop on and we can take a look together. And we can also put in for me to control her screen if we need to let me drive for a little bit and just kind of talk through that document. That works really, really well. I love that feature. So you can add someone to the call or chat. So you can add people from outside your organization just by using their email address. And Microsoft Teams is so smart, it'll let you know that they are external to your organization. And then you also have the option to decide if you want that person to see the chat history or within a certain number of days. So that's something that we use here at TTechT when we get a new employee. So Lisa will add them to the channel, and then she can give the history and just, you know, you can kind of go back through and see some of the conversation back and forth, or she can also limit to how far back she wants to go. Okay, so working with people outside your organization. So this is something that you, as we mentioned, you can search by email address and select the person external to your organization. And you're going to see this welcome to the team and just kind of a couple of things to get you going. And then down at the bottom, you can see I was the owner of this specific channel. So I added someone, or I added a couple people to it. And then it just kind of lists who's been added, who's been removed. So you kind of have a record of it. So the call options. So this works a lot the same way as a lot of the phone systems. So you have your speed dial, contacts, history, voicemail options available, and those are all going to be up at the top right corner of your screen. And that box with the arrow, that's actually going to be to share your screen. So that doesn't really necessarily have anything to do with the call, but the little camera icon and the phone icon, if you want to do a video call, you can use a camera or use the phone if you just need it to be an audio call. So the search feature, so this works really well. So in this example, I just searched for anything that had the word user in it. And here you can see kind of behind that filter window, anywhere that it pops up within a conversation. So I had one from Bonnie, one from Ash, one from Lindsay. Otherwise, you can also use the filter options. So you can look for a specific subject, date range, team, channel, my app mentions, or has an attachment to it. So the calendar. So the calendar, as we mentioned, Microsoft has done a great job at letting all the apps play nice together. So this integrates with your Outlook calendar. You can schedule meetings or live events straight from the calendar, and Meet Now allows you to easily connect with someone. So if Leah and I are having a chat and we get tired of typing, we can easily set that over to a meeting, hop on our headsets, and we can have a conversation back and forth. So meetings. So this is something scheduled within Teams. So this is going from our Teams calendar. So we're going to leave it set to new meeting. And here I can put in the title, the location. We can just use Teams. And that's going to add a link to join my Teams meeting within the invitation. So that works really well rather than dealing with all the phone number business that we had going on in Skype. If anybody remembers those days, that got to be a little messy. So the meeting scheduled in Outlook. So there's also a button available. So if you look over here to where it says, this one says join Teams meeting, but if you want to schedule a meeting, it'll say schedule Teams meeting. This is already set up. So it gives me the window to have the title that invite people when it's going to be, and then the location is going to be Microsoft Teams meeting. So again, all they need is that link. And as I mentioned, you can do this from an iOS or Android device too. And you can just hop on this Teams meeting real easy and have the same functionality available to you that you would as if you were using a desktop client. Video conferencing. So the same place that you go to schedule a meeting, you can also drop down, instead of putting new meeting, you're going to select new live event. You're going to give it a title. Location's just going to be Microsoft Teams. Give it a start and end time and then some details about it. And then whoever you want to present, and then who's going to be the organizer and kind of the different roles there. So this is available for enterprise license users, and you can host a high definition call with up to 250 members. And this is really cool because this includes the ability to share screens and record the calls. So a lot of people always ask us about the number of people that can attend meetings, or how many people can do different roles, those kinds of things. So I'm not going to go into this a whole lot because this seems to change quite a bit as they do upgrades and kind of figure some things out. But if anyone is interested, you're welcome to do the playback and kind of go through this list. And as I mentioned, Teams works really well with a variety of different apps. So a lot of project management, communication, workflow, those kinds of things, productivity. So you can go in here and you can search for all the different apps. They have different filters already available to you, so you can kind of play with those a little bit and find out which apps work for you. And as I mentioned, they all seem to work really well with Microsoft Teams, so kind of a good way to boost your productivity a little bit. So now we're going to open it up to questions and open discussion. I thank everyone for joining us today, and as I mentioned, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. The phone number to Tomorrow's Technology Today is 419-678-4600, or feel free to shoot me an email at kkramer@ttechT.com. Thank you so much.